Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Community Coffee. We just rehearsed this, y'all. So, for y'all that are new to the show, understand there's going to be a lot of fun and laughter, okay? So I done that on purpose, right? It is a coffee community with emphasis on unity with our veteran group, okay? So this morning we're going to be, we got a wonderful guest here from the city of Dallas, Ms. Desiree Bailey, who's going to be talking about community court and some of the things that they do there to help our fellow veterans this morning. And of course we got Chris here, one of the founder of this wonderful platform, and then the T.
I don't know why
The T. And of course our fellow brother Ramon, that also works, it does a lot of great work for veterans as well. And me, Kevin Belcher, I am with the city of Dallas, also the first vice president of our veteran employee resource group here at the city of Dallas. So we're going to have a wonderful show. We're going to give you some great information. I even got some information on some jobs this morning. I'm going to give y'all 411 on a few a hiring event. I ain't talking about a job fair. I'm talking about a hiring event. It's a difference between the two.
Definitely.
Because we will be making offers at this particular job hiring event this morning. So just get your coffee out. I didn't have time to get mine this morning, but drink some for me, okay? And I really will appreciate it because I need it right about now. Tune in and let's get started. Chris, you wanna?
Yeah, I can introduce myself. So my name is Chris Montoya, the CEO of the Heroes Foundation, foundation that honors my father, Daniel Montoya, who's a Vietnam and Marine vet, and my late uncle, who's an Army vet and also Vietnam vet. I pass it over to T and to Ramon to introduce, and then finally to Desiree.
My name is T. Hewlin, Veteran Employer Liaison. I don't know why it's the T, but okay. As long as you get it right, it's T. I work for Texas Veteran Commission. I work with employers to hire veterans. So I basically tell employers the great and phenomenal reasons why veterans should be hired. The Ramon.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Ramon Reese. I'm a vocational rehabilitation specialist for the VA's Vocational Rehabilitation Services program. Sorry. As T does, I work with veterans, helping them overcome specific barriers when it comes to community-based employment opportunities.
And I am Desiree Bailey. I'm Desiree Bailey. I don't know why I can't be the Desiree Bailey, but we'll work on that. So, and I am with the City of Dallas. I work for the City Attorney Chris Caso's office, and I mainly for Veterans Treatment Court, but I also do right now for our interim for our drug court, and then also we have our regular community courts. But if we're talking veterans, definitely wanting to just get veterans that have Class C citations by the City of Dallas into our courtrooms, and not just addressing those citations, but all around wraparound services. So mental health, for substance abuse, whether you're having trouble paying utility bills, rental, if you're just needing resources, that's what we're there for. So
I learned something that's only been 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Awesome. So Desiree, I have some tickets. Actually, I have some warrants. I really don't, y'all. Okay, I'm just saying.
I'm gonna pull you up.
I'm a veteran, and I've been having a few struggles, and I got a problem with my feet. I get a lot of tickets, but I do have some warrants out now because I kind of been having a problem with employment, and I need some help. What do I do then?
So you definitely just give me a call. I'm gonna pull it up. The greatest part about it is even when it's in warrant status, we're still having those individuals come in. We want to actually catch you before you're getting caught for your warrants, okay? So when you come in, I do your assessment. We're talking about it with our treatment team, and then the judge will have you come in for a court date. As long as you're agreeing to participate in the program, then we will actually lift those warrants as long as you are following the recommendations of the court. So, which is a huge blessing. And then once you have finished actually with the program, and it can take 6 months, some individuals it takes 2 years. It all depends on the veteran's needs. And what we do is whenever you finish, we actually have a big graduation. We have one coming up October 24th, and we have a lot of our veterans that are finishing our program then. But at that time, the judge will then dismiss those citations off of your record. So it's really a great benefit for everybody. It helps you to be able to gain employment. It's also to help you, right now there's so many housings, like apartments that are checking your background, and they're not caring what they see that citation is for. When they're seeing that you have something on your background, it's an automatic, well, let me move along to the next one. And so if we can reduce those barriers to help our veterans to get employed, to get housed, then that to me is such a great benefit for them. So we also will help you. We have resources for employment, obviously. We have a bunch of that here on the couch with us here today. So we do take care of employment. If you're needing referrals just to get involved in the community, we also have that. Sometimes that's just what we need. Sometimes the veterans that come in don't have the support from family or friends in the area. So sometimes maybe getting into a little bit of trouble is because they don't have something to occupy their time. So we're trying to get them involved with other veteran organizations so that they can do something a little bit more productive and less damaging for them. And if they need bus tickets, we also provide bus tickets to help you to get to your doctor's appointments, helping you to, get to look for housing, if it means even coming to court. And a great thing right now is we are still doing it virtually except for one Monday a month. That one is in person.
Awesome. So I actually can come to this place with warrants and not worry about being arrested.
I was just thinking that.
I was thinking.
Not that we have warrants, but we are aware that people have warrants and they go in to work something out and then they don't leave that day. They go on vacation, there. So can they walk in and say, I have warrants and still leave that day?
Yes, and that is one of the biggest things that I guess for me, especially doing outreach and just sharing with individuals like you and other organizations that I'm speaking with, is that is one of the biggest fears of our veterans coming in to take care of stuff. They think, I know I have that warrant. Why would I go and trap myself?
Yes.
And the minute that they walk in, if they see a bailiff sitting there, they're like, oh, I'm done. I mean, I have veterans that think that it's a trap for us. I will walk out and go down the street, meeting them down the street, and walk them back in, letting them know this is not what we're here to do. We're here to reduce those barriers. Once they get arrested for those warrants and they go to jail, it's a lot harder for us to be able to help them. And really, these are Class C misdemeanors that we're not wanting them to have to be going to jail for. And so if we can help you take care of it in advance, let's do that. But that is the biggest thing. Not many people will just think, oh, I'm going to walk into a court and say, hey, can I get help? When I know I have a warrant out for my arrest. Please walk into the courtrooms, ask us, because even if you're not a veteran, we do have our drug court and we have our regular community court that are all doing that. We're having individuals do community service in lieu of paying for those fines. So giving back to your community and seeing that difference that it makes is so much more rewarding than having to pay those citations. And it also answers one of the biggest questions that I think that I get from people that are always asking me, well, if I paid this fine, what is that money actually going to? Or they say they didn't pay the fine because they don't know what that money is going to. Well, you're not paying any money, but you're seeing what the fruits of your labor are doing when you're helping give back to the community that you live in. And to me, that's rewarding.
So, hold on.
Oh, here we go. I need another copy.
He set up for this one.
I know, I think I know what I just heard, but you say even if you're not a veteran, if you're a civilian,
You can go into our
and you come to your courts
Yes.
with a warrant,
Yes.
you won't be arrested.
I'm not gonna arrest you, but no, we won't. You're coming in asking for assistance, and that's what we are trying to do for our community. Being community courts.
Folks, y'all need to spread the word about this information. This is very valuable information because there are a lot of people that walk around with warrants, don't have the resources to pay for those warrants, and they're afraid to go to anybody for help because they think that they're going to be betrayed and locked up. Listen, the City of Dallas Community Courts is here to help you, no matter what, whether you're a veteran or a civilian. You can come to this court and do community service and have those warrants lifted. That's great news. That's great information to know.
That's huge.
That is huge. What else do y'all do,
But
Desiree?
you also talked about, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Chris.
Because you also talked about a program, and so for me on my side, I do a lot of corporate consulting. So I help companies establish these military veteran initiatives. A lot of them are establishing second chance programs. A lot of companies are starting to because of labor shortages. How do we still find talent? How do we start kind of, how do we reduce what our background checks produce? You know, how do we start passing them through? So if you also help these gentlemen, these people with employment, how does that work? Because I know companies would love to, if they're dismissed or if they're minor infractions, that companies still hire them, and companies want to start hiring. All these second chance programs are starting to kind of pop up.
So we definitely have a lot of different resources and different organizations that we're working with. Empower, for one, is a good organization that we work with.
Great organization.
And they actually are helping, they have a veteran-specific program, and then now non-veterans that they're actually working with as well.
18 to 24.
Yep, 18 to 24. And so they're providing paid training and then also internships that lead into, you know, hiring positions. So when we connect with them and we tell them we have an individual, this is what they've got, they're in our program, we're working with them to reduce this. And the great thing too is for those that say, well, I don't have my license because of these warrants. So we're actually paying to get your driver's license back. Make that appointment and we are paying for that driver's license.
Oh, wow.
If you were born in the...
Hold up.
I'm sorry.
Wait,
I don't know if you saw my face. I was like, wait a minute.
Wow.
Did she say?
Yes.
Because I have a huge veteran population with mental health diagnoses. A lot of them have backgrounds. Some of them are resolved issues. A lot of them may not be. But a lot of them are, like you said, they're afraid to engage with resources other than the VA because they think the VA is a safe haven. So I ask, you know, where are you going to? I'm waiting for the charges to fall off or go away. Obviously, they're not going to go away,
Correct.
right? They're not going to disappear. So knowing, and I've had a few opportunities to meet some of the people years ago at the Veterans Court on Corinth. Is it Corinth?
That's where we're looking.
Okay, and my veterans seemed to fall off at times, and they didn't follow through, and I didn't contact with them either. Do you guys? You mentioned wraparound support earlier. Do you guys have a resource that follows up with the veterans to track what their progress is, or why they may have fallen off and
Yes.
re-engage?
So even with the ones that actually finish the program, we still follow up with them for 6 months afterwards. So for 6 months now, are we on them, you know, every week like we do in our case management as I do when they're in the program? No, but we do reach out to them. We are still making sure that they have the resources that they need, that they haven't, you know, maybe gotten a speeding ticket, something each one of us could do at any given time, right? So, and then if they have, we of course invite them back into our court. Ideally, we don't want them to have to come back into our court.
Right.
And so, but we do follow up with them. And then even on those that have not finished the program, maybe something else is going on in their life that right now the treatment program is not for them. We respect that. We're not making anybody stay into a program that they're not comfortable or in the right mind space to do, because then you're not going to get the full benefits of it.
Right.
So if you need to take that break, take the break. We're going to get you back in. We're not holding that against you. And even if you did, say you had 64 community service hours that you had to do to pay off your citations. Say you finished 20 of them when you were in it the first time. Now you've come back 6 months later. Luckily, I have one of the most wonderful judges, Judge Blacklock, and he's looking at those community service hours that you had already done, and he's applying it to when you come back in. It's not saying, you know what, since you dropped out, now you're back, you're starting back over at 64. That's not how we operate at all.
That's good.
And if you're born in the Dallas County and you need your birth certificate, that is another thing that we can also pay for. So, and I know that helps out a lot of people as well. And I think that we all on this couch can say that housing has been such a huge issue
Yes.
for everybody, veterans
Absolutely.
and non-veterans. So And that to me hits me really hard because of those that do get their prescriptions mailed to them. And so if you don't have a physical address that you can have those prescriptions mailed to you, then that tells me that we have a lot of veterans that are not getting those prescriptions.
Right.
That's a concern. So then that means that we're also not taking care of that mental health side of it for them too. So we do reach out to any and every agency that we know that can help these veterans to get housed. And it's also so important to have that housing because of the employment side of things. If somebody looks at a job application and it's asking you where are you housed and you don't have a physical address,
Yes.
automatically that employer thinks this person is not stable. I cannot depend or rely that this person will be here the next day to get them hired. So to me, that housing is so important, and I don't know if people are realizing that, you know, it does take a lot of baby steps, but doing it in the right way, it's gonna get done, but getting those citations taken care of, that is imperative for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Housing, like you said, is a huge issue.
Yes.
Have you engaged with the HUD-VASH or housing program
Yes.
at the VA?
So I actually work really good with the VA, with our HUD-VASH side of things, also with MVHA on our Veterans by Name list call on Tuesdays. Recently, I have made a great partnership with the Bonham VA as well, because here's the thing, guys, you don't have to live in the city to be able to get in our Veterans Treatment Court program. Your citation needs to be by the city of Dallas. However, you could be residing in Hopkins County, Lamar County. Now, you do need to still participate as recommended by the judge, but if your citation is the city of Dallas and you are a veteran, you qualify to be in our program. So those that are in the Bonham VA were reaching out to me. They're there for treatment. They're staying, you know, in the domiciliary there. And I thought to myself, I'm going to connect with the VA and see how I can get these veterans into the program. We can treat that substance abuse that they're having, but when they're walking out and they realize I have these warrants now that I have to take care of and all these citations, you're going to have a chance of relapse.
Of course.
If they don't have housing lined up for them when they come out, that's another stress barrier for them. You risk that chance of relapse.
Right.
You're unemployed, so what are you doing? You're on the street, you're usually going to get caught up in the wrong crowd, you're starting to have some depression, you're picking up that bottle again, or you're using. So now the Bonham VA has worked really close with me on making sure that the veterans that are there are getting their substance abuse, mental health stuff taken care of. They have worked with me on having a community service worker that's there that is actually, I let them know what the hours are that are needed, and they're performing those hours there at the VA premises, and they're giving me this feedback of telling me that they're seeing such a difference even on the premises by having these veterans, you know, participate. And the veterans' mental health is actually reporting back. They're telling me, you know what we did today, and it was awesome, and you should see how good it looks.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a great wraparound service for them. And so even though we can't reduce all barriers for every one of them that are there by the time they come out of that 90-day program, if we can even reduce some of those barriers that they're coming out feeling like they have a fresh start, for me, that's a win.
Yeah, it's a win. Anytime you can increase the hope factor,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
it's
Absolutely.
amazing. And
Yeah.
how you can see it actually manifest in a very quick period of time.
Definitely.
Wow, so the program itself, it's a 90-day program. They have to come in how many times a week, or what that look like?
So the 90 days for the Bonham. So with our program, it's generally based, say, in about 6 months. Some people think, well, I don't want to have to participate in this for 6 months. That 6 months is not a, like, this is set in stone 6 months. We have some that finish it well before 6 months. But you better believe, for that 6 months until we do that next graduation, you're going to have me being able to say, how are you? Do you need anything? And whatnot. But we have some that stay in the program for 2 years. We have some that are graduating from the program and are still contacting us. So, and that's a good thing.
For the
That's not,
support,
that's right. That's
yeah.
not a bad thing. So, but when they come in and they stay 6 months, the great thing about it is that we're not saying, you know, how if you go to court and they say, okay, now you have 30 days, you need to pay this citation, or you have till next week to get this citation paid for. We're giving you 6 months to make sure that we are giving you all the resources that you need, but as well that 6 months of being able to do your community service. So whether you have 8 hours community service or you have 200 hours of community service, it's not saying it has to be done within this 30 days.
Right.
And so people sometimes think, I don't want to have to commit to this for 6 months. it's not saying that. I have so many right now that have finished it before that 6 months, but then they realize, you know, Miss Bailey, I kind of need this. Miss Bailey, and I'm like, that's what we're here for.
That's awesome.
The follow-along support, it's huge.
We said misdemeanors, does that include felonies?
So felonies are going to probably go to our county
Okay.
Veterans Treatment Court. Our court is actually Class C misdemeanors.
Okay.
And the other perk to that for the city of Dallas is that we are the only Class C misdemeanor Veterans Treatment Court around.
Okay.
So with that being said, makes it difficult if you have a Class C somewhere else, unless if you have a citation with the city of Dallas and you come into our program and you say, you know, Miss Bailey, I also have some citations over there in Tarrant County, maybe some in Collin County. Our attorneys, who are also wonderful, will reach out to those courts and we tell them, you know, we have Mr. Jones here in our program. This is what he's doing with us. We understand that he has some citations with you. Would you be willing
Oh, wow.
to let
Okay.
him, you know, would you send over recommendations if you would allow him to do his community service for you in those citations within our court?
Got it.
9 out of 10 times, the other courts are willing to work with us. So
That's
then,
great.
it's not saying you're only taking care of your city of Dallas citations,
Mhm.
and then you still now have to face the Warren, Silver, and Grand Prairie.
Mhm.
We're trying to get it all around. Let's give you a whole fresh start.
That's awesome.
That is really great. Somebody moves over here, they still can handle everything over here. They don't have to be scared to drive around. You know those people that have those when you're on the freeway and they're in the middle lane going about 55 miles an hour. You're like, you have tickets somewhere.
Riding
You
dirty.
know what I mean? That part right there. So those are the people that need to be reaching out to them to handle that, so you can at least do the speed limit or move out of my way.
And
For
I
my
think,
speed ticket.
and we were talking earlier about, you know, the community service, and a lot of times people even think, community service, like, I don't want to go pick up trash. I'm not gonna, you are not gonna get me out there where every rubbernecking person is like, I know that person out there. What did you do?
Wait, with your cell phone.
Immediately, yes, immediately that's what people will think when we say community service. That is not just what a community service for us is. We have, you know, we have a whole community service team with the city of Dallas that it might be saying that, you know, Miss Jones, you know, that lives on this address is an elderly woman who can't mow her yard.
Okay.
So we will ask the veterans, you know, can you participate to help us go clean up her yard for her? Okay? That's giving back to your community. It could be that an individual calls that has disabilities and can't get out to fix the panels in their fence. So we will say, let us come out to fix these panels in your fence. This also prevents them from getting any kind of code violations from the city. So now we're not only helping you to take care of your citations, but we're also helping keeping another individual from getting a citation by code.
So individuals, so this works on both ends. An individual, if I'm, say my mother-in-law 75, and she's got some shrubs outside that need to be cut, they can call you as well.
Yes, so they can call. Now, Judy, who is over our community service, I will definitely send that message over to her. And then her team is the one who actually says, okay, so many of us are going here, so many are going here.
Okay.
But they definitely call my number all the time. I take the message down and I let them know this individual's needing something done. And then the team goes out and takes care of it for them.
Does that extend outside of Dallas County?
So we're a city of
Where we
Dallas,
going
and
with
I know
this?
what you're
Where you
thinking.
go, where you going with this?
There's no carpet that needs to be pulled up, Miss T.
You know, if somebody's in Ellis County by chance,
I'm gonna connect you with that court, okay? I will give you that resource.
they don't have a veteran treatment court in Ellis County?
No, but they probably have a community service, a community
They're working
court that
on it.
has some services that they can offer for you. But I think that's what we want to also let them know, is that it's not just about picking up trash, and it's not even just about mowing yards. So I have, you know, recently had a lot of meetings at the state fair, and there is the Veterans Memorial Wall at the state fair.
Okay.
These individuals that actually take care of the wall during the state fair have said to me, you know, if some of your veterans would like to come out and help listen to the stories of the loved ones that come and see their, you know, family members on the wall, that's what we need volunteers for. If they will listen to other veterans share their stories about when they were in service, that's what we need individuals for. Maybe they just need somebody to help them to edge.
Because even Washington D.C. to the memorial, you feel something when you go there. Even if being a civilian myself, having never served, you still go there, and then it takes your breath. So that's all.
Yeah, so and maybe they just need help, being able to etch something, from somebody's loved one's name and stuff off of the wall, on paper. And so right now I am actually working with some of our veterans to be able to go out and participate in that, and that's how they're earning their community service. And if that doesn't make you feel good about yourself, then, these are the kind of things that we want to do. And the whole idea is not saying we want to make you do anything that makes you feel like belittled or
Less
that
than.
you're punished. Yes, it's about trying to give them things that empower them to want to continue to give back to our community and to also obviously stay out of some trouble if we can
Right.
help that. So
Make them feel good about being a veteran
Yes.
again.
That's
And where does your
awesome.
passion come from? I mean, what is? I mean, a little bit.
So I'll be honest, for all the veterans sitting here at this table. So, look, a late college, student here, and so when I got when I was going through social work school and I was in my master's program, they said, who would want to work with veterans? And I was like, I'm sticking with mental health. I'm sticking with children. This is where my passion lied. And then about 4 years ago, for not happy reasons, I ended up going to Montana. And I was like, I need a job. I have to work. And there was a veterans position open to help end veterans homelessness there. And I said, I'm going to do this. And then I came back to Texas for my first granddaughter to be born. And I said, I'm still going to work with veterans. And now I couldn't imagine doing anything else but working for veterans. Now then I do have a lot of family that are veterans. I have a brother that lives in West Virginia. He's, Army. I have my grandfather who is buried in San Francisco Memorial, the big cemetery there. And and then also uncles and stuff. So, but it never hit me until I got into it and I realized the needs. And then just understanding how so many veterans feel that those resources may not be available, but it's just because maybe they're not hearing it, whether it's the word's not getting out, or if they're just not asking the right people.
Right.
But I think it's a two-way street. We can sit here all day long. We can talk about every resource that we know of for veterans. But unless our veterans are actually trying to connect with these resources,
Exactly.
it's not doing any good. And so they need to take advantage of it. They've earned it. We're all here. I know a lot of us probably have our regular 9-to-5 jobs, but a lot of us are doing so much involvement with other, organizations that's volunteer work because we are so passionate about what we're doing. And I mean, for myself, I live in Paris and I drive and can make that commute every day to Dallas because I want to continue to work with veterans. And now I love it. It's what gets me going. And when I have one veteran that says, thank you for what you did, I'm like, you know what? Can't help them all, but I've helped some.
Or when they tell you thank you for your service, even though I've never served,
Yes.
and you get that thank you for your service, it brings about that satisfaction of I did a good job.
Absolutely.
It makes it worth it.
Absolutely, and it was hard. That first year I was working with veterans, a lot of them gave me a little bit, well, if you're not a veteran, are you a veteran?
Yep, you got that.
I'm like,
We do that sometimes.
I'm like, well, what do you know? You don't understand. I got a lot of that for a very long time, and now I honestly can say I don't know if I've been asked that question, but maybe it's because I've grown and I've gained a lot of knowledge for what the needs are for these veterans. Maybe it's the compassion I have for what I'm doing that maybe they don't pay attention that I'm not one.
It's your spirit.
But I'll tell you, it still hurts when I sit in a room and they say, who all in here is a veteran? And I'm like, I'm always like, don't look at this way. When you're the only person in the room that has not raised their hand, okay? I'm like, I just don't want to say anything because, people are,
It's all right. We're thankful for your support.
Yes. So we're gonna take a moment to allow you to give out your information because that's so important for the audience to get to gather your information so they can pass it along to those that need it, because the ones that's listening and looking or watching, they don't need those services, right? But anyway, that's what I give them.
if you don't need,
What's the best way to contact?
so even if you don't need my services, I'm sure we all know a veteran that could use our services.
Absolutely.
Okay, and even if it's not for citations and you just need some resources, call me. I'm happy to help. I don't have to have you call me just because of citations. I'm here for everything else too. So you can reach me at 214-422-3406. You can also email me if you just want to send me a message there, and that's going to be Desiree, DESIREE.Bailey@dallas.gov. And if you want to come see me at my court, that will be at 2111 South Corinth Street Road in Dallas, or you can also go to our drug court where I'm also helping out right now, and that is going to be at 2922 Martin Luther King. And then we also have our other community courts. We have 2828 Fish Trap Road. We have 6742 Greenville Avenue, and then our downtown court, which is going to be at 2014, is it North Main? North Main. North Main, yes. So at any of those courts, and if you happen to go to a different court, and you tell them you're a veteran, they're automatically going to send you over to me. So, and those addresses I gave you are going to be, we have one in Northeast, we have them in West Dallas, South Dallas. So we try to make sure that we can help assist no matter what area of Dallas that you're residing in.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
There's all sorts of places to go, so there's no excuses. No
Yeah.
excuses. There's a location somewhere for everybody.
Yes. And the down,
Can't answer this right.
and the downtown community court, it's our night court. That's such a big benefit, and I want to definitely make sure I say this to anybody that has citations, veteran or not, is they do walk-in docket. And so
What is that?
it's where you don't have to actually be on the docket. So you don't have to have that scheduled saying, that letter that comes to you that says you need to appear at 9 a.m. at 2922 Martin Luther King. You won't have that, so you don't have to have that. If we are doing a night court, it's in the evening. I believe you have to be there around between 3. It closes at 7, but let's not wait till 7, okay? Because you might not make everybody happy at that hour. But and then you can just walk in. And so it's working with those individuals in the community that have citations that maybe you have a job during the day and you can't just go to court, or you don't want to tell your employer, I need to be off for a couple hours because I got to go to court. So we have that night court, and that's actually on Thursday nights. So that's tonight. If anybody has any citations they'd like to take care of in community court tonight. And so you just go to the downtown court, and that's where they will see you as you walk in. And then if you're a veteran, they will send you to veterans court. And if you need to go to drug court, then they'll send that referral over to drug court. And I want to say to you, and it's off of our veterans, but our drug court is offering individualized treatment plans for those that need to be in drug court. And I know that one big factor that we hear all the time is, I can't afford to get treatment. I want the help, but I can't afford the help. One of the parts of being in our drug court is that we have partnered with different treatment facilities. So while you're in the program of drug court, we're paying for that treatment.
Oh, wow.
And so for me, that is a huge relief. If you're wanting that help,
Yeah.
we're offering that help to you
That's great.
at no cost to you. So that's another really great benefit of participating in the drug court program.
Absolutely.
That is, because those programs are expensive, very
Oh,
expensive.
yes, absolutely.
It's for people that want to fix that issue, but then they can't afford to fix the issue because the issue keeps getting them in trouble. To have somebody say, not only are we going to help you with the mental side and all your other problems, we're going to pay for you to get treatment. Yeah. Somebody that really wants treatment would grab hold to that, and that would be great. That's awesome.
So for the individuals that may be working, is that outpatient and inpatient sort of resources?
So that's going to depend on, like with our veterans, I have some of our veterans that are actually in the treatment programs, and they're actually staying at some of our treatment providers. And so they actually get to stay there. That stay is actually paid for also by us. So for that inpatient stay. And then we have some that, they have their house. So they're needing that assistance, but they just go to the facility. So they might go there for anger management. They might go there for, medication, assistance. They can go there just because they need some extra counseling. And so we do have some that are residing in their own homes, but going to that facility for a treatment. And then we also, of course, have them go there to make sure that we're getting our drug tests done. Those are all paid for as well by our courts.
Okay.
Wow, okay.
That's a lot of opportunities.
That is a lot of opportunities.
No wonder
So,
you have a large fold out. You seen the fold out for what they offer? It's like a quadruple fold. It's huge. And now I see
Page
why.
35.
It does. You open it and you're like, oh, there's more. That is a lot of things. No excuses, people. No
And you had
excuses.
mentioned something about the 24th, October 24th. What is that?
So October 24th at our 2111 South Print Court, that is our Veterans Treatment Court. We're actually having our graduation that night at 5 o'clock. Anybody's welcome to come and be a witness to that. And so, but that's where some of the veterans that have completed the program will then be getting their diploma, you would say, from the judge. It's also the certificate that basically says your citations have been dismissed.
That's like you're free.
Yeah, that's like the best diploma that the judge could give you, right? And so, and at that time, we also do, we have, and this is one of the great questions you'd asked me earlier about following up with those that have, fallen out of the program or have even finished. We invite some of our alumni to come back in to tell us how they're doing, to share their story with those that have just graduated, and maybe even try to connect them to build that relationship, to get that brotherhood and that sisterhood, together. And since I've been with the city, which I started in April with the city of Dallas, I've had one graduation so far. This will be my second. And I thought to myself, I wanted to make our graduation a little bit more than just saying your citations are dismissed. So I wanted additional resources. I wanted them to leave there saying, I have that support that I need. So we decided that we invited Empower for Employment. We invited Combined Arms to come.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, with Combined Arms, they're linked to over 700 different resources
They are.
that can help assist veterans.
Right.
And so they're a go-to for me as well. And so we had Combined Arms come, and then I also had Sheepdog Impact Assistance of North Texas come. Now they're all over, but I had the one here locally come, and he spoke to our veterans, and then he also catered the event for us, which was amazing.
Okay.
that's the
Yeah.
one that
I'm sure
feeds, that's the
never
one that
seen
feeds you real good, right?
Okay, so we had some smoked brisket, smoked sausage, potato salad, baked beans. I mean, Raymond and his team did it up. And the greatest part about it is all of the meat that we actually had was by the veterans that are involved in that organization. It was from one of their hunts.
Oh.
So it was actually, once again, veterans. Now, T, don't give me that look. That was some of the best food ever.
Wait, you can see, turn away from the camera.
Look, T, you don't have to eat it. I'll eat yours. It's okay. Obviously, we know that's not a problem here.
That's some Virginia stuff right there.
No, so how
Eating
great
my
is
food
it?
and then eating it. I'm not there yet.
How great is it to know that
Pasteurized
It is
wraps.
literally farm to plate.
Yeah.
no, it was not like that, guys. It was all
I'm
processed
sure it was
properly.
wonderful. You said beans though, right?
It was all processed properly. So you gotta think, how great is that these veterans that went and are involved in this community are now giving back to more veterans.
That
And
is
that's a great thing. And Sheepdog is so good about the fact that their whole thing is especially helping those that have just come back from serving
Yes.
and helping them to find something to be involved in, to still keep that brotherhood, keeping them off the couch so that
Yes.
they're not getting depressed, so that they're not turning to substance abuse.
Right.
And so they do so many great activities as far as like ATV rides, hunting trips. They do, things like skydiving, but most importantly,
That's
they're
good.
all about giving back to their community.
What are they called again?
It's called
Sheep-
Sheepdog Impact Assistance of North Texas.
That's interesting. Okay, all right.
And so
Very important, because I think one of the major problems that we have with our veterans a lot of time when they do come back home and they isolate themselves. So having an organization that can keep them involved in activities and keep them intertwined with their fellow comrades,
Right.
that's key.
Positive organizations.
Yes.
Because when they're
That's it.
isolated, they can be lured into groups they shouldn't be in. So
Yeah.
yes, something like that is a good organization to get out,
Yeah.
like you said, have that camaraderie, go hunt, skydive. Okay, I'm here for that. Sounds good.
they really do a lot. And I think that that's what's important though, is that they are leaving with additional support, because that's exactly what they need. I don't want them ever feeling like we're saying your citations are done, now you're on your own.
Cut them off.
Because some of them that have been in our program for a couple of years have really counted on us to be that support system.
Right.
And then if you're just saying you're done, you know, that's kind of hard to do for some of them. And I think also, you know, speaking on those that were afraid to come in for those warrants, you know, we do have a greater amount of males into our program than we do females. And a big fear is that these are single moms that might have these warrants out that are saying, you know, well, I don't want to lose my children. You know, if I go and I get arrested because I have these warrants, you know, then I'm going to lose, who's going to take care of my kids?
Right.
That's another big thing about us having those warrants lifted once you come into the program. And then we also want to be able to help them because there's a lot of them that are driving when their license has been suspended,
Oh, yeah.
but they still need to find a way to be able to provide for their kids.
Good work.
Well, come in and see us. We want to help you to reduce that until we can have it eliminated so that we're not getting yourself in a bigger bind.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, that is really great.
So I have a question. As much great work that you guys do you ever incorporate what you do with other entities or other companies?
So, like for instance, this weekend, we are, so 100 Men Enterprise is having their, they normally are in Tarrant County, and I recently have been working with them and I'm now a member of their board. And so they are wanting to expand over to reach veterans in the Dallas area. They know that it's easier for those for transportation because of the DART, you know, accessibility. So they are actually hosting an event at our fish trap location.
West Dallas.
On a Saturday from 10 to 1, to where myself will be there to speak about what all of the community courts, what our veterans court can do, but as well as all of the other members and then just volunteers that have different veteran organizations are going to come together. And really the group is just there to provide resources for what their organization does, what their employer, you know, because some of it's not, they don't get paid, it's just a volunteer thing. So we are inviting any veterans to come to that event on Saturday so that they can hear more about the resources that are out there. And so I definitely encourage that if anybody's interested to attend that.
What location is that going to be at?
That will be at 2828 Fish Trap Road.
And that's this coming Saturday
This Saturday from 10 to 1.
from 10 to 1.
And if a company wanted to reach out to you for job seekers, if based on graduation they're eligible now, you know, to be hired, can employers do that? And is it confidential, that information confidential to receive, or do they have to, you know, how do they engage with you to be able to recruit some of these?
So when we initially do the assessment, when I initially do your assessment, I ask you about, you sign, you know, ROIs and consent forms, and if employment's something you're looking for, then I have you sign a consent that I'm able to speak to different agencies. But the big thing is I ask the veterans what you're interested in doing. So when another agency reaches out to me and says, you know, we're able to pay for 5 CDLs right now, do you have anybody that would qualify for this? I look at those veterans that have that interest in getting a CDL, and then I immediately call those veterans and I say, let me connect you with somebody where you can get your CDL paid for and have a guaranteed job.
I mean, that's huge, because like, for instance, and I hate to be redundant, but Domino's is building the CDL programs. So they're looking, how do we start recruiting? How do we start filling these programs to get your CDL license, but also to get you an employment with Domino's, because you're an employee at Domino's as a CDL driver. But a lot of these companies started to build these talent development initiatives. So it's huge. If they could just reach out to you and ask.
And I would also encourage those different agencies to come to my graduation, and they can talk to those veterans one-on-one, and they can tell them all about what job opportunities are available. And that's a great opportunity for them to actually sit there and meet those people in person and be able to gain that kind of rapport with them. So I would encourage them to do that as well.
Perfect. Well, I know we're coming up to time. I want to give everyone an opportunity to talk about any upcoming events, anything that's going on. I know, Kevin, you got a hiring event going on coming up?
Yes,
Yes, we do.
I have one. Is yours ready?
He's
I got a quick
still
one. You will
Ladies
actually
first.
be at mine, so.
Ladies first.
Okay, so it's the annual Red, White, and You. Every county
Yes.
has it. Dallas County Red, White, and You will be November 10th, literally up the street from where we are at Gillies. It's been, because of COVID, we haven't had it in a couple of years, so this will be the first one coming back in a while. But again, it'll be at Gillies. You just Google Red, White, and You to register. If you're in Tarrant County or one of the other counties, just Google for your county. Every county will have one. Upwards of 60 employers and more hiring for
huge.
everything. It is a massive, once a year.
One of the best.
Yes, it is a very, very massive.
Massive. Put on by the
job.
workforce. Every
Yeah.
workforce will be in attendance, and we do that for veterans, but it's also for every job seeker. They let the veterans in first. That's red, white, and you. Yes, us. I see you, but I'm holding something in my hand.
We're out, Chris.
But,
We're out.
yeah, I'm sorry. And the civilians are invited as well. Everyone is invited to attend.
But it's
So-
actually one of the best ones. I mean, you
Yes.
have all kinds from Southwest Airlines, American Airlines, Microsoft.
Yes.
I mean, this is one of the heavy
City of
hitters.
Dallas,
Yep.
Amazon, dairy farm companies.
Oh, so many.
There's even a company there that makes Louis Vuitton purses.
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton. You get a job there, you might get a discount. So, yes,
If
everyone
we
will be there.
advocate for them, we might get a discount.
Discount.
So if you're an employer out there and you want to be a part of this great job fair event, what do they do? Who do they need to reach out to get that invitation?
You just, again, depending on what county you're in. So if you're in Dallas County, you can just type Dallas County red, white, and U, and it will take you to the employer registration link. You go in there, I think it has less than 7 questions, maybe 8 questions, and that'll register you. You get to the event, they'll have a packet for you, they'll walk you to your table, you set your table up, they feed you lunch. It's easy peasy.
And there's almost upwards of, I would say there were 200-300 people, maybe. I mean, it's massive. I mean,
It's massive.
The
There's
ROI is
a
there.
line. There's a line for the job seekers getting in.
Oh, yeah.
And every room in Gillies will have employers inside. A number, the stage, the whole thing is full of employers looking to hire. Not just there because they have a company. They're looking to hire. And it's
Absolutely.
free. Free.
Keyword free.
Free. Gratis.
Free lunch, free lunch too?
Yes.
Oh, I'm coming to
Free
Gillies.
lunch.
I don't even need a job, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
The job
Wait.
seekers,
for the civilians
I don't
too.
want y'all to say T said job seekers get lunch. Not for the job seekers. What's in it for you? Getting a job.
The
The employers get
free
free lunch because they're there very early. They're there
Absolutely.
all day long. They're there till the last job seeker shows up. So we give them lunch. There's water bottles all day. There's coffee to keep you energized. I had some already in case you can't tell. And we take care of the employer so they can take care of the job seekers.
But you might need us at your booth to get that lunch.
Yes.
Okay, that's,
Done.
all right, we're there.
Just
We're
okay.
gonna support you.
Awesome. So my department, the Civil Service Department of the City of Dallas, will be partnering with the Dallas Water Utilities Department to do and workforce will be out giving
Workforce will be there
assistance as well.
TBC will be there.
Yes. Doing a hiring event on Thursday, October the 6th, 2022, from 10 to 2 p.m. The address is going to be at Kleberg Raleigh Recreation Center, and that will be at 1515 Ed Road, Dallas, Texas, 75253. If you need any more information, you can call our department at 214-671-5915. That's the Civil Service Department. We will give you more information, send you a flyer. We'll even talk you through how to apply the whole 9 yards. So just feel free to give us a call. You don't want to miss some of these positions. And these are some specialized positions that's going to be, the offers will be made for water instrument technicians, industrial mechanics, water utility electricians, heavy equipment operators, senior heavy equipment mechanics, utility maintenance workers, wastewater treatment plant operators, and apprentice wastewater treatment plant operators. So that's a lot of different technical positions or skill positions that you can actually come out and get an offer, a job offer that particular day with a contingency.
That's huge.
They should pre-apply, right? If they go on the website now.
Yes, I encourage you to go online at www.dallascityhall and apply today. So you can already have your application in. One of the key things is making sure you put all your information on the application, not the resume. You can attach a resume, but the best thing to do is always put all your information on that initial application. And you want to make sure you read those minimum qualifications as well, and so you can understand exactly what they're looking for. If you have that experience, feel free to apply. You may be hired at that event. So make sure that you go online and get that application in. Also, I just want to take time out also because I've been looking, y'all might be noticed, I've been constantly looking at my phone. I have a daughter in Florida that's going through a hurricane right now, so I'm checking on her, and I want to ask each one of you to just send out a little prayer for the state of Florida, because they got smashed, and they're still getting smashed right now as we speak, because she's giving me updates, as we speak. So just keep them in prayer.
Yes.
We have our little major tornadoes every now and then,
Right.
but it is nothing compared to a hurricane.
Right.
And the things that happen there, all of the work that's involved, the damage that's done. They have over 2 million people without power right now. I mean, it's just a major storm that hit. So just continue to pray for them as well.
Absolutely.
Include Puerto Rico in that too.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
because
Yeah.
they got it. Cuba, it's a bunch of them got it around that area. The Keys, Florida Keys, a lot of them.
And I want to also include that anybody that's interested in doing National Night Out, that will be Tuesday, October the 4th, and that is all over the city of Dallas too. So there is many different locations, and it's about bringing community together. So there's going to be myself in District 2 that night, and then there's going to be a bunch of our other community court staff that will be spread out. So you have the opportunity to speak with community court staff if you have any additional questions. But it's just a great opportunity for you to see what's going on in your community, to be able to also speak to Code. Code will be out at these events. There's a lot of different departments for the city of Dallas that will be there, that is, willing to answer questions that you might have, but also to listen to concerns that you might have. And that's the great thing. We want that feedback. So
Yeah, even the mayor comes out
Yes.
to those events. I've been at several of them with the mayor that appeared on those events as well. So it's just a big block party all around the city of Dallas. So join in. You get a lot of information about the city of Dallas and a lot of the resources that we have for the citizens here in the city of Dallas as well. Desiree, I got one more. I think you can slip in one more.
Okay, I talked fast.
She sent, she talked real fast, and she has a host of information. There's another thing. What about the one with the marriage thing?
Okay, yeah, so with, marriage management, and if you want more information on it, if I can't fit it in real quick, so it'll be marriagemanagement.org. And so marriage management is actually free to veterans and their partners. I don't want to say your spouse because you don't have to be married.
Okay.
And so it is offered in so many locations: San Antonio, El Paso, and we have several different ones here in the Dallas and Fort Worth area. And we actually had one that was supposed to be this week in Tampa, Florida. It was our first one in Florida,
Oh, wow.
and we had to reschedule it. So definitely saying prayers for all of those veterans that were registered for that one. But marriage management, I know ideally when people hear it, they think, oh, this is counseling. It's not counseling. It is actually to provide tools for that toolbox for your marriage. One of the big things is when you just come back, getting back into your marriage after you've been gone away serving, and then now having to come back to being that spouse. But also for the spouse that has been at home, that has been that single parent, that's been the provider for things here at the home, and now you're having to have this person who's almost like a stranger coming back and saying, well, now we're going to do it this way,
Right.
but you've kind of had your ship sailing this direction, okay? So it's just helping to build tools for you to be able to communicate with one another, and then just also to, they have R&Rs where it's just kind of a retreat thing, just to kind of make sure we get that little spark back. What can we do for your relationship, that we're communicating well, that we're making sure that we're thinking of each other? And so I encourage everybody that there is one this Saturday in San Antonio, And then we have another one next weekend in El Paso. But there is, if you go to marriagemanagement.org, there's some coming up in the Fort Worth area as well. So I encourage everybody to check that out.
Awesome. Chris, let's see how fast you can talk with the 2 minutes you have left.
Oh, did I not save any time for you, Chris?
1.5.
Chris, that was
1.5 minutes.
Chris was letting me talk so that he didn't have to.
The Hero Foundation
Chris,
is
I feel you.
Yes,
Really
yes.
fast. Chris was smart.
To stay here to cut.
I know, Chris was like, let her talk, let her talk.
Alright, so I know we come up to time, so I want to quickly wrap things up. So be on the lookout for our new newsletter. That should be coming first week in October. The newsletter is going to be a consolidation of all our information, open jobs, events, things coming up. We will be having the Coffee and Community coming up October 20th. So stay on the lookout for that flyer that's coming out. And also just kind of little forewarning, we're going to have our, for the first time and since the pandemic, our end of the year gala hosted by the W Hotel. So it's a blessing that we were able to put this together. We did it before the pandemic. The pandemic, of course, has had an impact on various levels for individuals and especially nonprofits. So financially, we're getting back where we need to be, and we want to do something for the community. And so our gala will be coming up December 8th. So that flyer information, how to sponsor, if you're a company, purchase tickets. Just know that anything that is given from a donation to a ticket comes back into the community. Q4, especially around December, is my time of giving where Christmas trees for veteran families in need. I adopt veteran families that need Christmas toys for their kids. I give to Dallas Child Advocacy Center, Children's Health. There's a lot of different ways that I give back to the community. So anything that a ticket sale makes a great bit of difference for the Heroes Foundation, we can do for others. Ramona, before we wrap it up, I know you didn't get the same. You got paper there?
You have 0.5.
I just wanted to make sure that if you have any information regarding employment, you need assistance, whether you have a background, whether you have mental health diagnosis, reach out to va.gov, that's va.gov, or Ramone, RAMONE.Reece, REECE @va.gov. Thank you.
TVC is in every workforce, so you know where to find us. Veteran Career Advisors and Veteran Employer Liaisons.
Well, thank you, each one of you, for coming out and joining in with us at Coffee and Community, with emphasis on unity. Y'all have a great week.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook, Instagram. We do have our pages up. This will be placed on there as well as our YouTube channel. So
Yes, absolutely.
thank you.
Have a great one.
Thank you.